Welcome, people of the World Wide Web. So it's the weekend, and per usual, it's a movie review, and as you already know, it's for the animated movie The Migration or Migration. This is the new film from Illumination, which is the studio behind Despicable Me and the Minions and all of that. And yes, this is a movie about ducks migrating. Quite simple. If you've seen the trailer, it gives some of the gist of it away. But yeah, essentially, this story is based around a family of ducks. So you have the mum, dad's, two babies, or kind of a teenage boy and a young girl, and then Uncle Dan. They live on this pond. They always live there. They never migrate. They meet these other ducks. They talk about Jamaica. That's where they want to kind of go, and they invite him along. But the dad is very stuck in his way. The mum kind of convinces him that he will lose his family if he doesn't, he is a bit more out because the rest of his family want to go, and then they kind of go on this adventure, but realise that the dad's lack of the coordination, direction and stuff takes them through like kind of Brooklyn area where they meet up with a little pigeon called Chum and a big parakeet named Delroy. Who they have to free, and then he will then help them get to Jamaica. That is the gist of the movie. It's about an hour and a half long. Now, because it is Illumination, before the film starts, there is a 5-10 minute short based off one of the villains from Despicable Me. I came in a little late because expecting it just to be trailers, just because of the timing and everything of what I had going on. So I missed the first bit of it. It's not the greatest, but it nothing at the end. But yeah, I didn't mind it. I went in low expectations, and I did quite like this movie. So we'll slap the spoiler warning up, and we shall get into it. So as I said, this revolves around a family of ducks. So you have the dad, Mac, played by Kumail Nanjiani, if I pronounce that right. He was in the Immortals movie from the Avengers. Immortals? Yeah. He was the Hollywood movie star that had the cameraman with him. That is the guy who plays it. He's been in a few other bits and stuff like that. Nothing I've really come across. I think he might have been some like Community and that. Eternals, not Immortals. He probably Eternal. Oh, sorry, Marvel fans. Please don't. So much going from my head. I did watch at the other evening, so I should know. Then you have the wife, Pam, played by Elizabeth Banks, as we all know from Pitch Perfect, Zack and Miri, and many other magnitude of movies, as well as direct and stuff. Then you have the kids, Gwen, the little girl, very, very cute. She is played by Therese Gazelle, if I pronounced that right. Don't recognise the name, don't really recognise where it's from. And then you have the son, Dax, played by Casper Jennings, again, a name I'm not too familiar with. These are the four main characteristics, and then you have Uncle Dan, who is the granddad, who tags along, who's voiced by Danny DeVito. Obviously, Uncle Dan, Danny DeVito, quite simple. He is there. The other characters you have throughout this, obviously, is Chump. So this is a small pigeon with a deformed leg, played by Awkwafina, who we all know from Renfield was the last one I'd managed to see, and then obviously from the previous two Jumanji movies that we've seen, amongst Crazy Rich Asians and a few other stuff like that. Then you have Delroy, or Delray, is the big parakeet, is played by Keenan Mitchell Key, obviously Keenan and Peele, and obviously the last one he was in Charlie Wonka. And then the only other character kind of who has a presence who I know is Gugu, who's this kind of Zen kind of duck, played by David Mitchell of Mitchell and Webb, and obviously from the UK people you probably know who he is a bit more than anyone else. But anyway, so you have this family. They are living in this pond. They are safe. The dad is very kind of introvert. He doesn't want to go. He wants to be safe. He scares his kids and stuff like this. And then you have all these majestic ducks come along and talk about Jamaica where the water is reflective and stuff like this. And this is it basically entices the mum and the kids to want to go, and the dad not. They have a bit of a falling out. The dad kind of sits outside, and then he kind of comes across Uncle Dan, and Uncle Dan's like, yeah, just be like me, be safe, and then he realises, I'm a bachelor, it's the best life ever. And then the dad realises that he doesn't want to be alone, so he sets him on his journey. And as I've said previously, that unfortunately they're all going south for the winter, and he sends them north, sends them to part of Brooklyn. This is where they meet Chum, like the Aquafina character, little crazy pigeon, who tries to help him, sends him to Delroy, who's the parrot who's been kept by this evil chef who likes to create duck l'orange. You see it featured quite a lot, or predominantly in the trailer. They set him free by causing a lot of chaos, and then they are kind of tracked as they're trying to. So you have Delroy leading this duck, the whole family of ducks, to Jamaica. They come across Gugu and this kind of Zen farmyard, which is actually for this chef. So they keep bumping into Chef. They rescue all of these ducks, try to get to Jamaica, and as they stop on the coast of America before they go over the waters to Jamaica, unfortunately most of them are captured, leaving the two youngest to kind of rescue them, and then it's kind of a do or die battle at the end. Very Despicable Me style. The chef is very much like a Despicable Me villain from number 3, I think, if you remember from I think it was 3, it might have been 2, where you have the shopping mall and you had the pizza guy and the rest of the guy. It's very much like him, but big, but you know, it's got that very much Illumination style to it, of Despicable Me. Obviously, you get the ducks get away, they go to Jamaica in the end, they're all really happy, and then at the end, they, as everybody's going back to their warm, they realise that there's some more birds that need some help, and it's some penguins. That's literally the gist of it. So, what did I think? Now, I must admit, I had a little bit of low expectations. I wasn't expecting much. So the bar was set a little low. I do like Illumination films, and to be honest, it was a very solid film. But when I say solid, it was very solid, average movie. I will put the rating up really early, so it's 6.2. 6.2 is what I have for this movie. It's nothing spectacular. It's nothing rubbish. It just sits kind of in that almost middle ground that, you know, they have this story, they have these scenes that it kind of rotates and takes this journey. You have this villain who's then kind of hunting them, that leads to this final battle. You have these old characters like Chum is in for a small bit, and then Delroy is near the end of it. The dad, Uncle Dan, Danny DeVito, doesn't really do much. He does have a few little bits to play, and with a Subway sandwich early on. Not really much else. There are some, the first kind of major scene that they have after they leave the ponds and they come across these herons. That was quite good, quite not what you were expecting. But again, it was a bit like that. There was stuff that worked, stuff that didn't work, stuff that was okay. They were ticking the boxes, and gradually the story went along. This is why I've given it like a 6.2. Like, it's a good family film that you would enjoy. It's nothing you'll go, oh my god, I want to go see that again. You know, I will own this. I probably won't pay full price for this. It's not something I think you have to rush to see. But on the grand scheme of things, it's better than I expected. And I say maybe when I rewatch it again, I'll bring it down. The acting all round and stuff was quite good. I say the dad, the actor who plays him from Eternals. His voice is very noticeable, and you know, and they all come across a bit. The kids are very, very cute. You know, they do use like repetition in some of the scenes. Kind of have like, if the kids want something and be very cute, like kids are, they use that a few times, which works quite well. Then they have kind of scaring people out. They kind of have the big, bright, big, massive eyes bulging, not blinking. They use that a few times. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And yeah, and there's a few jokes that you can kind of see what's going to happen, and stuff like this, you know. And there are some scenes like in The Chef and that remind me a bit of like stuff like Ratatouille and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's not really a movie I've seen of this kind of migration and them going through these different things. Like I've say the closest thing that they've released as far as I know is like Rio and Rio 2. You know, you had the birds trying to get out of, you know, kind of captivity to the rainforest. If I remember that film, it's been a long time since I've seen those. But yeah, overall it is as I say, a solid average movie. You know, it's a fun family movie. You go watch. It's very much in the Despicable Me world. It has that feel to it. As I say, it's not amazing. There are like some of the earlier Despicable movies far outshine this. They do stuff. There are some that are probably on that level with it, I say. But to be honest, I think for most people, the bar would be set low. You'd watch this and you'd be pleasantly surprised. I don't think that means it's an amazing film, but I think it's a solid outing. I think that's good for studios, you know, in this day and age with Marvel and comics and everybody else. I think just to put out a film that is actually at least solid and enjoyable to watch, I say, because it's been a mixed bag so far this year, I must admit. But anyway, I've been Cypher Sigma Screen Time. This has been my review of the film Migration. Have you seen this movie? Let me know in the comments down below if you have, or what are your views on it. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe, do all those things you want to do, and I shall see you in the next one.